This is the first time I've been back out for a hike in probably 3 weeks. I have been, since I got off the Appalachian Trail basically, that's the first time I've been out on a real hike. We did some traveling. I did a training for work and I injured my knee again falling on a wet floor. So I was really disappointed about that. Had a pretty emotional reaction because I've been training really hard and I knew that it was gonna set me back. So I'm a little nervous about today because I'm nervous I'm gonna wind more easily because I've been out of practice for a few weeks, and so I don't have the same trail legs I had on the Appalachian Trail just a few weeks ago. So we'll see how this goes today. A morbid table of dead things. I mean, it's not my least favorite kind of table, I guess. Possum. If that's really toad, that is a big ass toad.
That's what I was thinking.
It's bigger than rabbit. What the heck? Kids like to play with blocks. In this case, they give you jawbones.
Yeah.
So we came to the Wehr Nature Center. This is Wehr Nature Center behind me. And the kids got caught up in a puzzle, so they wanted to finish it. Yes, like a sit down, put the pieces together puzzle, a jigsaw puzzle. So I was like, well, all right, I'll go outside. So I thought I'd take a minute to talk about my reaction to this injury. You know, I've been training so hard, and I got so mad that one quick moment, slipping and falling, was going to take me out. And I was terrified to move. When I first fell, I was like, oh my God, not again. If you've been watching all along, or if you know me well, you know that the reason for this whole Appalachian Trail training and so on is because of my knee, which I fell on a kitchen floor twice and broke it into quarters. So I've got a, you can see the scar, but it's not great. Ignore my hairy legs. That's what happens when you're outside hiking a lot. Anyway, so in 2 years, my leg never healed all the way. My muscles completely atrophied. So when I fell at this training, I was immediately emotionally devastated. It was like PTSD. I just immediately thought, oh my God, I've been working so hard, and for what? And after a couple of seconds, minutes, I don't know, I got up and I couldn't put weight on the foot, on my leg. So I did a lot of crying in front of strangers. I was really angry. For the rest of the training, this was at the beginning of the training, so for the whole rest of the training I had to watch. I couldn't observe, or I couldn't participate because you can't run around in a kitchen with crutches, which I ended up with for a short time. But fortunately, whatever was wrong with the leg wasn't broken, at least not the bones, has now gotten better. It feels better. So today, I'm finally getting out and just trying to get a couple miles in to see how it goes. So far, so good, except that I can't get the kids out of the nature center to go walk on the trails. And they came with me. But it is a little bit like starting over. You take a couple weeks off and all of a sudden you really feel like you're starting over. Getting up the energy to start the walk and just, you know, the motivation to go. And it's a beautiful day. Nothing could be more motivating than this. I mean, the sun is shining, the sky is blue, the temperature's really good. I mean, it's a little warm for hiking, but it's beautiful for just about anything. And so we came to this nature center because I remembered it being really pretty in the spring, and I wanted to see how much flower growth there had been. So I'll share that along the way, and we'll really try to enjoy this day. So if I can get the kids to be agreeable, this dark colored trail, that's a blue trail, it's known as the Woodland Trail, and that is about a mile up and around. Brings you back to here, and then that red trail is another mile going up this way and around. And at the end of it, sort of by the lake, there's a waterfall, and you can go around the yellow trail, which if you did the whole yellow trail, it'd be 1.5 miles, but if you do that part, I assume it's probably just like a 1/4 of a mile. And we'll take that around. So we'll probably get in, I don't know, 3 miles today before we go back to where it says parking over there, which is by the golf course where we parked. So, some pretty neat little trails. This little pink trail is pretty as well. It's pretty tiny. It's only 0.4 miles, but it's got some neat foliage and flora and fauna. Different kind of a playground with little, slivers of wood and a little tunnel from a tree, a tiny little cabin where kids have been piling up the slivers of wood. I like that. Oh, and there's even sort of a little sand area to play in over here. Right all over Mallard Lake, which is where we've been looking at all of those pretty lily pads. A lot of frogs. They're pretty quiet right now, but imagine in the right time of day they're pretty loud. All around you can see little yellow tags around some of these trees. And if you look, all of those trees are dead. What happened was they put out an herbicide that apparently wasn't researched very well, and it killed off a bunch of the trees. So now they're going in and measuring the sizes, age, types of trees, and so on, so that they can make plans for regrowth. So all of this yellow ribbon around the old oak tree kind of thing is all really about science. So now you know what that song is really about. What they are, but they're super cute. Like a whole bunches of them. It's like walking through a rose garden, but not roses. Did you go the right way? I wish to know what this thing is. Just a field of tall grasses and pretty flowers and children and blue skies. It's an idyllic moment.
Or a butterfly?
It's a dragonfly.
I nearly stepped on found this really big mouse.
Mouse?
They're so tall they could be sunflowers. Way tall. What? If I had my water filter, we could get some water now.
There's a bunch of fish.
You can smell them. They might want treats. Here, fishy, fishy. It's like they're hovering. Hanging out in the sun. Looking at me funny. This is Lily's way of dealing with the heat. Well, it was slow. We did under 2 miles an hour on relatively flat ground. But we got through it, and it was beautiful. It was a really nice day, so hopefully we'll get out there again in a couple days and improve that time a little bit. So I went to the doctor a couple of days ago and originally I went in because I was just doing a check for a goal I did for work where I was going to be hiking 30 miles a week. Of course, that goal got crunched when I hurt my knee because I couldn't hike really any miles per week. Any walking I got in by miles was coincidental based on just going from point A to point B at camp or whatever I was doing. So I reset the goal just to try to get back on the game. Not really 30 miles yet because I didn't really know where I was going to be able to be. I think I did like 4 or 5 miles total today. We did 4 in a hike, and then not a whole lot else. So that's where I was today. But I also had to do blood work that just as a health check for my doctor. And I got this phone call later that afternoon saying that my vitamin D was low. Now, I've been outside like for the last month before I went to this doctor's appointment. It's July, it's not winter, I've been outside, pretty much living outside, except when I did the training. And even then I was walking to and from the training. Even when I hurt myself, I was kind of hobbling. I walked, the 3 miles with the crutches, or the 1.5 miles or whatever it was, on crutches once or twice. So when I got back, I had an infection, and so I sort of laid down for a couple days indoors. So I don't know if that just 2 days indoors could make my vitamin D that low that they would tell me I need to start taking 4,000 units of vitamin D a day. But that seems extreme. I've heard that vitamin D kind of goes through you pretty quickly, but to the point where I have to have a deficiency for, laying out for a couple days. I don't know. Or, either that or I'm just not processing vitamin D well, because there's no way my average vitamin D should be really low when I'm outside all the time. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. I'm taking a supplement, but I'm also just getting back outside. And so that was good motivation anyway to get back out there and do my hike today. I've got all this homework for a class I'm taking, so I'm doing a lot of that and trying to squeeze that in and still get in some hiking in the daytime. I want to get the homework all done so that I can get back out, spend a week or two more out actually on trails and at the campgrounds instead of being, indoors around walls and hiking the trails near home, because the trails near home I can hike any time of the year when I'm at work, and I like to keep it mixed up. It helps keep me motivated if I've got new places to walk. Although walking in the same place during different seasons, I definitely got to see some differences. Like today, the first time I went to the Wehr Nature Center was really not. The grasses were really short, and it wasn't. It was very yellow. Today, everything was green, and there were a lot of flowers, and things were way more grown in. And it was a hotter walk. The waterfall was trickling less. It was just interesting to see the differences just based on the time. Plus, they've been doing a lot of work at the Wehr Nature Center, so there's, yellow ribbons around the trees, as you saw earlier, if you watched the whole thing. And also, they had like a new boardwalk here and there, because they do a lot of boardwalks there to keep you up off the nature while walking through the nature, which is kind of nice in many ways. Can't really use my trekking poles on the boardwalks very well, but that's all right. It's nice to have them. You trip on fewer things. But that place has a really nice trails all the way around. Like, there's not a lot of tripping hazards there. A lot of things that you can run into, thorny bushes attacking you, all that stuff. It's a pretty user friendly. I mean, I think you could probably get through most of that place with a wheelchair if you had a good sturdy one and somebody strong enough to push it when there's a little bit of an incline. So there are some inclines, not enough to really get you trained for the AT, but certainly I felt them today after being a few weeks off of hiking. So I was out of breath on these little tiny inclines and going really slow. So it's amazing the difference just taking a couple weeks off makes. So as I train for the rest of this year into next summer, I have to keep that in mind, that taking weeks off is a really bad idea, even if that means if I'm stuck like getting on the treadmill just to keep myself sort of in action. I don't know. I think that the treadmill is not really super great practice because it doesn't use. I mean, you get exercise, but the muscles that you're training aren't the same muscles you're using when you're walking in real life, I feel like. And so, and also you don't get that weird elevator feeling when you get off of, a mountain as you do when you're getting off of a treadmill. I don't know. So anyway, it's a little different. So my day is done today, and tomorrow I have to go for another doctor's appointment and do some more homework and stuff, but I will try to get out there. I won't bore you with all the details of that hike that's coming up probably, unless it's super exciting. But I will kind of gradually send out more training videos on some different hikes that I do, especially when I go to new places. Happy trails. We'll see you next time.